Welcome back to day 8 of the 100-day challenge. Beautiful, sunny, cool morning to wake our bodies up and continue smoothing out these exercises, finding how they affect our bodies in more places and more ways. Let's start first by just refreshing the air in our lungs and breathing for a few. One hand on the low belly, position 1. One hand on the chest, position 3. A couple breaths. Filling the low belly, position 1. Expanding it, shrinking it. A couple breaths in the middle section between the two hands, the solar plexus. Trying to puff up the bottom of the ribs, the diaphragm, and contracting there. And a couple breaths in the chest, puffing the chest out, expanding and broadening the collarbones, and then shrinking the chest a bit. And then we will connect these three on an inhale from position 1 through 2 into 3, exhaling out 3, 2, and 1. Continue on, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. These muscles are stiff and sleepy after a night of rest. And our full lung capacity, which we rarely use, needs to be maintained or it begins to reduce. So now we will loosen up the arms a bit. Let's just swing them forward and back. We're using the legs to rock. And just sort of no real direction here. You're just letting the arms be loose like ropes and practice swinging them, waking up all the muscles around the tops of the shoulders and the base of the neck, all around the ribs, tops of the arms. Picking up the hands, exhaling, dropping them. Inhaling, picking them up and dropping them. Now we're going to throw back the arms, throw back the elbows. Exhaling when we bring the arms back. And now we'll begin to start to twist our hips, rotating our spine. Letting the head follow the arms. At first, keeping the legs anchored, trying not to let the knees rotate. And then letting the head stay stationary so the neck gets some rotation. The more you look with your arms, with your head, the further your shoulder blade will move across your body, stretching the back more. And the more you leave your head stationary, the more the muscles of the neck will twist and rotate. All right, let's come back to our standing position. We're going to continue today thinking about how in all the exercises we're keeping a breath going in our waistline, our belly, below back area. So reaching the hands, elbows, shoulders up, ribs go side to side, stretching the upper part of the back. Reaching the hands down, folding at the hips.
You started with... Okay, so you're done.
Hands go slowly side to side. Keep the heels and balls of the feet anchored. Even here, still breathing, filling up the waistline, emptying the waistline. Now get us warmed up. The sun's coming up. Again, separate grip. We want to extend from the back, through the shoulder blades, through the elbows, through the wrists. So think of all those joints as you're doing this. Each one opening up, extending, putting a little bit of space, even a tiny amount in those joints. This will prevent arthritis. Arthritis is the accumulation, the congestion of those joints, and eventually the filling of them with various bony materials and inflammatory compounds. Reaching all the way up through and then taking the side of the ribs left and right. A couple times. Breathing the whole time. Hinging forward at the hips. Here, extending the side of the body. Shoulder blade. Hands down towards the floor. Trying to feel your whole back involved. It's obviously a stretch for the legs, but think of the back as working as well. Third part of this motion, we step out diagonally, arching the side of the body, or the body over the front leg. One breath or two, back to the middle, other side. So there's no set time for these exercises or repetitions. There are different ideas you can use to get different things out of them. But eventually what I want us to find with our breathing is that becomes our sort of timer for what we're doing. We're not doing a certain number of breaths. We're getting into the position and we're trying to establish a full relaxed breath in that shape and feeling like we have arrived there, like our legs are doing what they should, our arms and our side and our head, everything is pretty much where it needs to be. We've completed or fulfilled that shape. And then we've let go of some of that mental stress and physical strain to just kind of straining to be there, and we're somewhat comfortably there with a breath or two, and then we're done. Certain things that'll differ. We may stay longer or less. Not many of these are static poses. Most are movements, so the same idea applies. We want to feel like we've got a sense of the motion, of the range, and of easy breathing in it, and then we're done with it. We move on. So, in my zeal to start stretching, we forgot to do our padding. Let's now jump back and percuss the sides and front and back of the head. And then our chest, the whole vagal nerve area. So moving the circulation here, but also, and loosening muscles, but also this is therapeutic for what's talked about a lot now as the vagus nerve, the vagal nerve, running down the front of the neck, a cranial nerve that helps regulate organ function. It's very involved in anxious states. And people talk about vagal nerve syndromes or syncope, fainting from vagal nerve issues, vasovagal response. Our goal in this area is to keep all of the tissues and circulation around that nerve loose, and then it works great. So, as often happens with this system, it's a lot easier to keep things running well than to try to address problems after they're a problem and to pathologize different parts of the body. So instead of calling something a vagal nerve issue and then thinking, well, I've just got a bad nerve and it's called the vagus nerve, maybe the area of that nerve hasn't been tended to correctly, and over a long period of time, it just became not a good environment for it to be working in. And it started to get a degree of irritation or reactivity that triggered symptoms. Hiking the legs up here, moving the big tissues of the thigh muscles, kicking the butt here. So here, this is a warm-up for the thigh and the knee. All the different tissues involved in this one action, the hamstrings, the patellar ligament, the patella, the kneecap, the quad muscles and the attachments there, the hip flexors in the front of the hip. Pathologies in all those areas can be treated by a little exercise like that, but if we just think about using the exercise to care for that whole part of the body, we can avoid even dealing with a lot of those little pathologies. All right, that's my lecture on the futility of reactive medical care. Here we are shifting our hips side to side. Let's start to warm up different parts of the thigh muscles and the back, low back especially. Strengthening the legs here. I'm going to now take the torso down lower. Thinking of bringing the belly all the way to the thigh, lowering the thigh more. My hips are still stiff here this morning, but your hips might get even lower, making the bend of the knee lower and the belly and chest getting lower towards the thigh. You'll feel a stretch in the low back. And here we'll start to shift, working the lateral movement of the spine, taking the hips first, letting the head and upper spine start to trail. I'm pretty stiff here this morning. And so imagining helps here, visualizing the one segment at a time from the low back up through the head moving. You may not feel all those move, but the more you imagine and kind of visualize it moving, you will get more play in the sides of the spine. And here we switch it up and we lead with the head. So first stretching that whole top side of the body and then letting the head and upper body lead the spine through to the next side. And we'll do a few times on each side. A little more physical part of the routine. Here's where you might get warm or feel some muscles burning. You'll note if we're going to do anything in this routine that makes us sort of get some muscle burn or feel the burn, it's going to be on these leg ones. Strengthening the legs, the thighs, the buttocks, the calves is very safe and very protective to the muscles above our waist.
What's the question in your mind?
Now we're sitting a moment low in the hips, pushing the hands together. So yes, we strengthen the legs. It's more important than strengthening all the little muscles of the arms. Everyone wants to get big old arms, guys anyway. Make strong legs. Learn how to tie the strength of your legs through your back and your arms. And your arms will be plenty strong. Circling the knees here. Trying to look forward. Only going as low as you can keep the heels down. Pressing when you come up with the heels and buttocks. The legs. And then lowering, straightening. So ideally, my ankles are more mobile. My hips would sit all the way down here. We'll see if by 100 days of focusing on this, I don't have a little more complete expression of this movement. But even if they never do, going through the range that's available to you will do great. All right, it's everyone's favorite, Phoenix stretch. It'll make you feel like a flaming bird screaming out of a volcano. I don't know why it's called that, actually. Turn the back foot out. Weight stays on that back foot, hinging forward at the hip. Spine stays relatively straight. Pull that front toe back. Breathe in the belly. Exhale. Sink lower. Again, a couple times on one side. Press the back heel to come up and switch sides. I guess it looks like one of those little chicken water toys, the little bobbing head bird toys, whatever they are. I don't know, maybe that's a phoenix. Arms are behind you. Oh, like wings, I guess. And top of the head reaching forward. Note there's a tiny micro bend in the knee. In this, we don't have to make the leg stock straight. That can make the knee a little vulnerable. Especially if your knees are prone to hyperextending. Some students I have seen have that. So micro bend will keep your low back safer and keep your knee safer. It'll still stretch your hamstring, you should feel. All right, I think it's round 2. We should... I'm going to stick with the same motion here. Another breath or 2 each side. And then we'll complete our next set with the elbows. Imagine that elbows reaching all the way to the toes. It's going to get there one day, maybe day 9, maybe day 20, day 60, who knows? It'll get there. It's harder here to keep the weight in the back leg. You've got the arms forward, so you kind of want to lean forward, but keep it basically in the back leg. Only the weight of the front leg is sitting on the front foot. So it keeps you actually pretty stable on your feet, so you're not cantilevered forward too much. And last side. All right, we'll stand for a moment. Let's see what's left to do here. Oh, I want to show a little variation. For this Phoenix stretch, having a chair in front of you, if this feels vulnerable on your low back or hurts your low back, or you just don't go that far, put a chair there, put a table. You can use your forearms and sort of make it a support. I just wanted to show that for a moment. So, I always harp on this is available to all people. Maybe it looks different depending on your age, but any of these that you're doing and you feel like, my body can't do this, call or come by, get a tip, an adjustment, or if you want to drill one of these or train one, make a little mini session with me. Shaking the body now. You can drop the heels, or you can just bend the knees. But we've stretched and engaged and twisted the fabric of our tissues all different ways. Now we're gonna realign the sheet on the bed. We're gonna flick out all the wrinkles. And we're gonna stand, knees unlocked, tail sinking. Balanced over your feet, not leaning back or forward with your head or shoulders or hips. Crown of the head lifting. Arms float up. Rounding the arms at every joint. Softening the face, focusing the eyes on the horizon. Letting the weight of the whole upper body and arm settle down the back. Shoulder blades sinking down the back. Tailbone sinking, knees releasing. Float here. You're aware but calm. Your body feels like one unified shape, piece. Circulation's moving evenly through all of your organs and muscles and extremities. Notice anywhere there's still pressure built up or tension, and let it go. Imagine it melting away into the rest of circulation around your body. We're going to have fun with this over time. This standing position can build great strength in you, can rework a lot of health problems. It's meant to be done for 1 minute to 10, 20, 30 an hour. So we're going to play with it more. For part of our 100 days, it only has a minute or a couple minutes of a roll. But we're going to do some bonus stuff as time goes on and see who wants to take it longer. Thank you so much for being here today. Let the arms fall. Breathe a few times. Who knows what your day entails? I hope it's good things. There's going to be some stressful things in it, probably. Remember that breathing in the waist and soften something that you can, maybe your forehead or your jaw or your neck. In the midst of that challenging thing, just bring a little memory of ease in your body that you found here today. Bring it into that stressful moment. Watch some of that stress melt away. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.